the chosen ones. Many people couldn't stand what you felt. You've gone through storms, valleys so black that only God's power could keep you going. And yet, here you are, standing and breathing as strong as you have ever been. This is your narrative, crafted through tears and struggles. But you're not here by chance. Just as the Israelites traveled the desert, they never journeyed alone. Your trip, however difficult, has been guided by invisible hands, hands that guarded you, protected you, even while you weren't aware. They attempted to drag you down, didn't they? They questioned you, laughed at you, and abandoned you in the ground, believing that was the end. But you rose, just as Joseph was sold, deceived, imprisoned, and abandoned in a pit by his own brothers. You too have experienced betrayals. You have felt the pain of those you trusted turning on you. But, like Joseph, your defeats were stepping stones that prepared you for God's greater purpose. You may not see everything right now, but your heart feels everything. The pool represents something larger, something holy. Pain may have knocked on your door, but instead of leaving, it has settled there. Many nights, you felt it so strongly, it seemed like it was a part of you. However, you must understand that every battle you faced has shaped you, refining you like gold in the fire. The Lord states in Isaiah, "I have refined you, but not as silver. I tried you in the furnace of sorrow. This agony has been your instructor." Every cry, anguish, and secret prayer helped shape the strength, bravery, and knowledge that now fills your spirit. You see, Chosen One's survival is about more than simply making it out alive. It's all about how you come out. It's about coming out smarter, stronger, and more in tune with God's vision for you. And when they see you today, they may marvel how you've survived, how you're still smiling and standing. They don't realize that every wound has been healed by the one who knows your name, who witnessed your anguish and given you the courage to move on. They don't comprehend that the wars you fought were never just yours. They belonged to the one who pledged never to leave or abandon you and was with you in your darkest moments. Consider the occasions when you felt like the whole world was on your shoulders, when every step was like pulling a mountain. Do you remember when you believed you'd reached the end? Nonetheless, you persevered. Those moments were not squandered. God said, "I am with you." David didn't fight Goliath alone. He confronted him, believing that the same God who had freed him from the poverty of the lion and bear would do so again. And, like David, you did not battle the giants alone. You battled them with considerably more strength than any adversary you faced. So here you are, having traveled through fire, storms, and misery that would crush others. But you're not like the others. You were picked. You are set aside. And certainly, there were moments when it seemed overwhelming, when the weight of life weighed down so hard that you could hardly breathe. But at those times, God was pulling you closer, urging you to rely on Him more completely, and showing you that His strength is perfected in your weakness. Allow me to tell you something. The chosen ones, you are not just survivors. You are overwhelmed because you didn't come this far to just exist. You've come this far to live a life of meaning, to bravely pursue the calling that has been put upon you. You may feel tired, you may feel traumatized, but every scar is a reminder of the fights you've won. Each one serves as a reminder that you persevered when others might have given up. And as you go on, know that those scars are more than simply reminders of suffering. They are signs of resilience, proof of your travels, reminders of your strength. You've had no evenings that seemed unending, prayers seemed unanswered, struggles that seemed insurmountable. But listen to me now. These trials were not the end. They marked the beginning of a narrative so deep that only the selected could experience it. It's a narrative of rising from the ashes and finding light, even in the darkest places. It's the narrative of embracing the strength God has always recognized in you, even when you couldn't see it for yourself. The Bible teaches that weeping may last for a night, but gladness comes in the morning. You may have wept, you may have been on your knees. However, the time has come for sorrow. This is your time. This is your time to rise and seize the life that has been planned for you. You are not bound by the shackles of the past. You are not defined by the suffering you have undergone. That suffering was a gateway, and you passed through it. You are entering a new chapter, a life of meaning, because you choose to keep going. And, to be clear, this trip is not finished. The world may still throw problems at you. It may attempt to knock you down again, but now you understand who you are. You know you have been picked. Discipline is part of it. To withstand this route, you must be like a soldier in training. You must be relentless. Just like athletes of the past pushed through tiredness, you must overcome the setbacks. Lean into the suffering, knowing that you're running for a crown of righteousness, not a crown of wealth. Hebrews 12:01 tells us, "Let us run." We completed the run with persistence. This is not just any race. This is your call. You were created to endure, conquer, and provide a message of hope. You'll be misinterpreted, some will doubt you, others could even ridicule you. They'll ask, why you? What makes you special? Remember that others do not see what you see. They haven't been down your route. They have not felt the weight of your troubles. Just like David confronted giants, those who doubt you are nothing compared to the thundering might of God inside you. And let me tell you something. When you begin to climb, people will notice when you embrace your calling. They will be unable to ignore the light of God that radiates through you. So certainly they doubted you. They left you believing that it was the end of your narrative. They assumed here was where they'd give up. They didn't comprehend, however, that a chosen one never gives up while living in God's destiny. Even the darkest night is only a precursor to the morning. Joseph was sold into slavery by his own brothers. You were shoved below, but only so you could go higher. When the world flung stones, God was laying the groundwork under your feet. Remember the times you believed you were alone, when it seemed like Every door was closed. Everybody had left. Every response was silence. Those were your wildest times. But even Jesus entered the desert, fasting and prayer, confronting temptation, emerging stronger and more committed to his cause. And, like him, you've confronted your wilderness, and now you are becoming stronger, ready to enter the next chapter with newfound vigor. But allow me to inform you, selected ones, this is not the end. Life will continue to challenge you. Challenges will continue to occur, and every time you'll have a choice. You must pick whether you will let adversity define you or use it as motivation to keep going. Moses faced the same decision when he led his people out of Egypt. They desired, yet they were skeptical. But Moses continued going because he believed in the promise. The same guarantee is yours. God did not bring you this far only to leave you now. Look around. Every challenge you've faced, every adversity you've encountered, it was part of your preparations. You're being polished. Similarly, gold gets refined in the fire. The fires of hardship have fortified your spirit. Let me remind you that this is more than simply survival. This is transformation. You are not the same individual that participated in those trials. You're stronger, smarter, and more resilient. Let me ask you, selected ones, are you feeling it? Do you sense that fire inside you, that spark of something larger, that purpose that will not die no matter how many times life tries to extinguish it? That's the Holy Spirit operating in you, reminding you that you're here for a cause that's bigger than any grief you've been through. Remember Jesus' words, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I've conquered the world." John 16:33 was chatting to you. You are a part of the triumph, the overcoming. Rise up. Stop waiting for signs. You are the sign. Stop waiting for permission. God has already ordained you. Stop searching for approval. Like Joshua, you have received approval from the one who made you. God is urging you to be strong and brave, to boldly enter the promised land and fulfill your mission. Perhaps you are now standing on the brink, staring out over an uncertain future. Perhaps fear is attempting to hold you back. You are whispering that you are not ready. Or what happens if you fail? However, the selected one's heart is free of dread. Fear may attempt to enter, but trust will keep you anchored. Just as Peter got from the boat into the lake, the eyes are fixated on Jesus. You are being invited to walk out in faith, trusting that God will not let you fall. When you look in the mirror, you may see someone who has gone through a lot, who carries scars, who is feeling fatigued. But let me remind you, those scars are precious. Each one represents a war that you fought and won. They are evidence that you can be strong even when life tries to knock you down. God built you back up much stronger. You have gone through the fire, and like the phoenix, you emerge from the ashes. And this is what I want you to remember. The chosen ones, you're not alone. God walks beside you. He moves ahead of you and stands behind you. And at your weakest times, when the weight of the world becomes too heavy, Remember that God's power is perfected in your weakness. You don't need to be flawless. You only need to be willing. Let me talk with you personally. The chosen ones. The biggest challenge you will ever face is not the world outside, but the person in the mirror. Too frequently, we gaze outside, pointing fingers and blaming people, circumstances, or anything other than ourselves. However, the ultimate reason of our failure is inside. Our own worries, uncertainties, and unwillingness to confront ourselves are what prevent us from moving forward. You hold the key to every door before you. You have the ability to break any chains that bind you. This is your time. It is your turn. The wait is ended. Rise up and take back the life that has always been yours. We may get so caught up in the activity, diversions, and continuous noise of this world that we lose sight of who we actually are. We get lost in the chaos. But I understand your anguish. I understand that anguish seems to be never ending. The darkness is impenetrable. It's difficult to imagine a better conclusion when storm clouds gather thickly about you. But listen to me now. If you just believe, genuinely believe, and hang on to that faith with everything you have, brighter days are coming, just as dawn breaks. After the longest night, will your tribulations give way to triumph? Weather the storm, withstand the discomfort, and I assure you that triumph is on the horizon. You're not a quitter. You are not a temporary success. You are called to greatness. Perhaps the initial chapters of your life did not go as expected. Perhaps you've slipped, made blunders, and faced seemingly insurmountable challenges. But remember, the game doesn't end at halftime. You have 3 or 4 quarters. A fresh beginning awaits. The Apostle Paul stated, "Forgetting what is behind and straining forward to what is ahead, I push on toward my objective." Philippians 3:1-4. Release yourself from the anguish and suffering of the past. Step bravely into the next stage of your life, completely certain that it is your turn and time. I do not care what the scoreboard says right now. You've got an opportunity. A fighter just needs one opportunity to prove to the world that he is more than a dreamer. If you want to alter your family's heritage, if you want to be a light in the darkness, you have to wake up, even if you don't want to. When everything within you tells you to stop, you have to keep going. You have a decision to make. You may either suffer under the weight of your troubles or choose to overcome them. You may reinvent yourself, overcome obstacles, and come out stronger than ever. When you connect with God's purpose for your life, no challenge is too tremendous. So no, you aren't going to quit, and neither will I. We will not let anything stop us. Darkness may surround us. Pain may consume us. But we shall not stop till our last breath. We shall strive. We'll ascend. We shall triumph. And we'll do it together. Do not give in. Do not lose hope. Choose to get up whenever life knocks you down. Choose to continue battling, to continue pressing ahead. The Apostle Paul had several tribulations, imprisonment, beatings, and shipwrecks. However, he never lost sight of his purpose. He said, "I've fought the good fight. I have completed the race. I have retained the faith." 2 Tim 4:7. You will not regret your efforts, sweat, or tears. You've invested in your aspirations. Your quest is well worth the cost. You're worth every sacrifice. Choose the difficult route, the one less traveled, because here is where actual development occurs. Choose not to stop until you reach the peak. Remember that not everyone has the same opportunities you have. Some have been advised that their days are numbered. They are dealing with ailments they did not foresee. Nonetheless, many of them choose to encourage others to live boldly, regardless of their circumstances. They battle through the agony that they are carrying, and so should you, even when your legs feel like they can't take you any farther. Stand tall at your weakest times. Find strength in God, as Isaiah tells us. However, those who have faith in the Lord will be strengthened. They will soar like eagles. Isaiah 4,031. Keep pushing. Keep working. Keep flourishing. From deep inside your spirit, conduct your business. Do what you have been asked to do. There will always be some who disagree with you and wait for you to stumble. However, there is no obligation to interact with them. Stick to your mission, pray for them, and continue ahead. Jesus instructed us to love our enemies and pray for those who persecuted us. Matthew 544. Don't squander your efforts on negativity. Instead, focus it on your objective. Allow them to speak. Allow them to doubt. Allow them to misinterpret you. Remain firm, consistent, and dedicated. That is what makes you distinct. Eventually, your tenacity will convert skeptics into believers. Your foes may become your footstool, not because you have ascended so far that negatively can no longer reach you,